build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance. Hello everybody, welcome to Longbangers. I'm Matty.
Good morning, I'm Colin.
How you doing?
All right, indoors this week, unfortunately.
Aye, weather's
to be sitting outside again.
Taking a wee turn for the worse, isn't it? I went out this morning to kind of let the dog out the back, and I was like, oh, that's a pity.
I had my hose on last night, I had my sprinkler on for ages, watering the grass, thinking I need to get this watered. Fucking woke up this morning, I thought it's been raining. Damn.
So your fault. You've just you got a super effective hose.
I soaked all the pavements, isn't it?
Because that's like a phrase I won't ever say again.
Did get a new hose the other week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, get that for shot bangers or something. It's not that funny though. Mind you, what difference does that make?
When's that stopped us? Did you watch the Champions League last night?
So I was sitting outside in the afternoon. Once I got back from my daughter's game in the morning, sat outside, and I was reading a book, and I came in. I'll come back to the book. I was reading the book, and I came in 7:45. I thought that'll do. I'll call in. I'll put all the stuff away and that. Get in and sit and watch the game. Should have just stayed outside, man. Fucking hell, dull. But then I suppose I don't know why I would expect any different. A final is generally shite anyway. Take the World Cup final recently out of it.
Aye.
But generally they're shite, and if there's an Italian team in it, it will be shite. That's pretty much your guarantees that you've got. So I don't know why I thought any different. But I kind of happy Man City won it. I'm happy. Don't know if that's the right word. No bother. I wasn't really bothered, but I would have quite liked them to win it. So.
Aye, I kind of a wee bit torn on it. So we'd been out. We went to a wee restaurant in Dunfermline called Jack O'Brien's. Would definitely recommend that. By the way, fucking lovely food. It's just like I don't know. It's I suppose
sounds Irish.
It's not really though. It was sort of more Scottish. Although in saying that, the starter I had was Iberian black pig. It was called. It was like char siu pork with a wee bit of sort of crackling on it. It was unbelievable. And then I had effectively surf and turf, which was steak on. It's meant to be lobster, but they never had lobster on yesterday. It was langoustines and like a pepper sauce. It had a chimichurri sort of sauce with it, and then the pepper sauce to go with the wee wedges on the side, or to put on the steak. Nice, like I could have eaten it again. Like after I finished it was like mouth watering.
It wasn't a big enough portion, Jack. If you're listening,
bigger portions. No a lot of eating in langoustines. It's not something I have a lot of, but they were butterflied, so you were just kind of picking out the flesh. But there's no much to them, Tasty though. Aye. Yeah, definitely would recommend. Service was spot on as well.
Since you're recommending something, I'll come back to what I said. The book I'm reading, Harry Fisher, he's a subscriber, I think. So I downloaded his first one on Kindle. It's good. Halfway through the first one. Aye, looking forward to finishing it, and then I'll read the second one as well. And then hopefully, if and when he brings a third one out, he can call a character after me. That's my request, Harry. If you're listening.
Would you like a villain or a goodie?
Aye, I don't know. As long as I'm not a prick. Like I'd like that wee changing.
It is fiction,
like
isn't it?
So, but aye, no, it's good. It's like a police detective thing based in Edinburgh.
Nice.
There's about 5 different strands to it, but it's obviously all got to come together. It's good. I'm quite enjoying it. I was sitting outside in the garden yesterday reading it. So.
We got home for the meal, just walked in just as Man City scored. So I kind of timed it perfectly for the key moment in the game. So got the last 20 minutes or whatever it was that was
Cracking finish.
Aye.
When you see it, you think, because that's easy to come on and run on and just smash it. You would imagine how many players would just come in and absolutely rattle that down the middle of the goals, and the goalie would just get in the way of it. Whereas actually just played it like a round the wall with a free kick into the back corner. Lovely finish.
But then you have got the 115 charges they've got against them for financial misdemeanours, which does they've not been found guilty of them yet, I don't think. But if they're found guilty, it does kind of taint it a bit, doesn't it?
Aye, in a way. But then you know what? Is a lot of the rules know about So there's a sports washing thing, right? But then everybody's getting involved in that. Like, that's just a bandwagon. But then you've got this financial fair play now about the big clubs trying to stop clubs like Man City catching up with them.
Well, it was that, and it really was to protect the status quo.
Man United, Barcelona, Real Madrid, they didn't want other new folk joining the party, because then that means they can't keep adding to their haul.
Well, Real Madrid are probably the last club to talk about. They've been propped up by fucking dodgy money for, well, almost since the
paying them money
the full existence, you know. Anyway,
that's how they'll do it. Again, it's one of them. I didn't really fully understand the financial fair play rules, and how you should play by the rules, I guess. But then, actually, the rules right would be, and is that might be Man City's question.
Aye,
how we meant to catch up? How you meant to catch? It'd be like us here in Scotland. Take it, put it to something we can equate to. Celtic Rangers are miles ahead, and then Hibs get a new investor, and then they want to spend a 500 million on the squad, and fucking multiply the wages by 100, and then somebody goes, "Your wages turnover's too high, guys." Like, all right, how we might catch up with Celtic Rangers then? Oh, incrementally. All right, we'll never get to catch them then, have we?
Not over the next 30 years. I don't know what the misdemeanors were that they were charged with. Anyway, that
seems like everything. It can't be more than 115 rules, surely. Fuck.
No, I know.
That's taking it to extremes, you know.
115 different breaches. But I saw a Hearts fan calling them out for it yesterday, saying it was like pretty much a tainted one. And I was thinking, fucking hell. I finally found a Hearts fan that'll be celebrating the 2012 one. So obviously that one doesn't count if you play by those rules. Anyway, right on to Hibs stuff, Colin, which is kind of what we're here for. Big news this week. Kevin Nisbet sold to Millwall. Reported, I think, £2 million fee plus add-ons. What do you think?
Well, it's reported 2 million up here, but it reported 1.2 down there. Quite interesting. It's each club getting their own spin on the figure. Millwall, they'll pay too much because somebody coming from Scotland. It's not that good, and we've got 2 million because it's fucking loads of money up here. So, I guess we'll never ever find out how much it is, because it'll be hidden away in the accounts in 18 months' time or whenever they come out. It'll be concluded. He was always got to go, wasn't he? I mean, he only ever came in to get a move. That was why he joined us. As he showed, like, he had these first 6 months he came in, and then he was wanting to move pretty much right away, wasn't he?
But that was to Millwall as well, wasn't it? If I remember right, was it not them that were in for him back in?
It was in January, and was that the one away back like 2 years before that as well?
Or was that Porteous? Because I'm sure they were in for Porteous at one point. I can't remember who came in for them the first time, but I see it
was a championship team, though.
Aye.
It's funny with the Millwall one though, because I thought he might have got. I suppose they were at the top end of the championship last year, but all the stuff when he went down in January, and they said, well, it was hinted they failed his medical, and then there was hints that he didn't fancy it because they didn't turn up at the airport to collect him and all that kind of stuff. And then 6 months later, he just goes anyway. It's a wee bit like, we wonder what actually went on in January. Like, what was the actual reason?
It's funny because folk are adamant that they can. Folk that are like in the know, in inverted commas, are fucking adamant that, and if you question it, they get all fucking humped about it. But you can't all be right. Like, somebody's wrong out of that. Like,
so unless they turned up this time with a car, but you would have thought he might have went. They fucking weren't interested the last time. Why? They've not changed their tune, have they? Like, you would have thought, unless you had any options. Unless that was the only team that were in for him.
Or they offered the most money, which would be the other. Because it's amazing what things that you'll overlook for an extra $80,000 a year or whatever.
And that's what it is, because he is mid-20s, isn't he? Ken, he's no a youngster. Right? Again, my definition of youngster is different to what the football terminology is. But 26 is the time when somebody would be looking to get that big move. Whereas I think he's a step behind that, because he's got that move, and if he goes down there and scores 10 goals before Christmas, he'll be chapping on the door wanting a move to fucking, I don't know, Southampton, or somebody that's higher on them in the league, or they've got a better chance of getting to the Premier, or even a team that's struggling in relegation in the Premier. That's where he'll be knocking the door down, because he's clearly a good player, but he's also clearly chasing the cash because he lost a few years of his career at the start because he wasn't fit enough.
Ambitious, I think, is the word you're looking
Was
for.
it?
Aye.
Sorry. Chasing the cash is that the same thing? Not always, but I think in this case, I don't know how ambitious. I think there's a difference between ambitions and chasing the cash, actually. I'm not sure if he's bothered about playing at the highest level. I think he's just bothered about earning the most money.
Well, I suppose you could say, if you're ambitious, would you be moving to Millwall for Hibs? They can.
Well, I think he's probably seen it as on the ambition side. That'll help me because it does. Even though I hate to say it's a better league. It's not a better league. It's just got more money.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so he's went there, but it's more attractive to Premier League teams to buy somebody for there than it is to buy them for here. So he's went there to put himself in the shop window to get a better move, and which will mean more money. So I think there's a bit of I don't know how bothered if Millwall let himself pay 50 grand a week, I think he'd be that bothered about going and playing in the Premier League. I didn't really get that impression from him. Nah. I just think he's money. Just when coming in for 6 months and going, right, boom, give me my cash, then I'm away. You know, I think it's more, and then jumping to Millwall, it's just Millwall, eh? You know, it's not even like, I wonder, do you get a London rate in football? Like, because obviously his meal deals and that'll be dearer down there than
you're about to, because they'll have a bit more money anyway, I would think, because they'll charge more to their fans and all the rest of it, so I would think so.
Good luck to him anyway. Hopefully he's in the back in the Scotland squad and that. He done well for us. I was never one that jumped on when he didn't score his lazy bandwagon, because that was always a thing. He's a good football player, chips in my goals. I just think, and I'm not criticising him for being money motivated. I care it comes out, it maybe sounds like that. That's fine if that's your thing. That's how different folk are motivated by different things. But good luck to him. It's just Millwall though. You know what I mean? It's just like
it's I know a bad bit of business for Hibs considering how little he had left in his contract. And I think in Hibs' statement, Ben Kent, so I think it was Ben, had mentioned that Nisbet said he wanted to move in the summer. Anyway, he'd made it clear that he wasn't going to hang around. So at that point, you have to just cash in, don't you?
We end up in a Pochis situation. I mean, we probably got more for Nisbet than we did Pochis, who actually developed through the ranks, and we ended up getting him for. So frustrating. How many Hibs fans that's happened with as well, and I'm not saying that it should be different because it's still their career and that, but it's like how does it happen? Really, because it happened with Riordan and Murray, and there's two off the top of my head. I'm sure there's others, but they're the two that come to mind immediately.
Yeah,
that we get next to fuck all for.
What about then it'll leave a hole in the number 9 position for us? Is it ridiculous to say that Harry McCurdy could take that opportunity to step up next season? Is that his big chance, or do we have to replace?
I don't think they'll think he's going to be taking his place. Like, I think they'll be recruiting, definitely. And there might be Kukarevich. They might think, he can't have another bad injury run like that. You know, if that's the first time he's had an injury run in his career, I don't know. They might think, can we get him again? I don't think McCurdy will be the one that's expected to step up there. I mean, he's never even really played up front for us.
No.
But he's brought him on. So to actually say, that's, you know, he's always played out in the sort of the left or even the right, hasn't he? He's never played through the middle, so no, I don't expect that at all. I wouldn't be surprised if we try to get rid of McCurdy.
Yeah. I could ask the question just to see whether there was.
We've not seen anything to suggest it, have we?
Nah, there hasn't been, but I think it's when you see a player that sort of flits in and out of the team, but then I don't think McCurdy's shown that he's good enough to get a starting place in the team yet. So I think if I was Lee Johnson, they definitely would be looking at you can't leave that as a status quo, but we probably need a minimum of one striker coming in. But you maybe
probably needed one anyway.
Aye,
you know, like because Kukarevich will be away because he's on loan, so he might come back, but immediately his contract will probably end. I don't know. Is it the end of June that these contracts normally expire? I don't know when. Or just when the season goes. So he's away. So at the moment, what strikers do we have in the books? We've got Johan, who generally plays out wide as well, although he's actually quite good when he's going through the middle, I think. And McCurdy.
Yeah, McCurdy, Boyle.
But Boyle's maybe a wide man, isn't he? Although you don't know, he might have lost a bit of pace when he comes back.
Aye. Yeah, I think it's definitely an area that we will strengthen. I think we'll probably focus on that area. Like, just
I think so. I think you definitely need at least one. I think.
We saw the difference Nisbet made when he came back into the team last season after being injured, and that was what we were missing. Was that sort of goal scorer, and he made a huge difference to our season. Pretty much stopped us being the bottom 6 team, and got us into Europe, I suppose. So if you can have somebody that's banging in the goals from day one, then we'll have a decent tilt at third, I think. Well, best of luck to Kevin anyway. I think he had some good times at Hibs. I think he'll be glad that he finished off with a couple of derby goals as well for the season. That kind of exercised the ghost of missing that penalty at Hampden. What else been happening at the club? We've started laying a new pitch. You seen much about that? Watched the videos of that?
Nah, not really. I seen a clip of the. Nah, I seen a clip of the grass getting sputted into the fucking lorry. That was it. Like, I don't really care. Although I did read something that it was 60% synthetic and 40% grass or something.
Aye.
So is that us? Like, are we? That the majority of pitch is plastic then? So are we in the Livingston Kilmarnock sort of thing now?
We're edging towards
making ourselves hard to beat. So when teams get beat off us, they'll get just one over a pitch, I think.
Have you seen how it works?
No.
So somebody shared a video on Hibs.net. I don't know if it's the same way that they're doing it at Hibs, but they lay these synthetic, I suppose, blades of grass on the pitch, and then they put the seed down, and the seed roots twist around the synthetic ones, so it makes it stronger. So you would think it would almost be like 60, 40, 50, 50 at least, because the grass would probably be paired up to a thread, if you like.
And what's the purpose of it? Is it so that it doesn't get the big patches?
It doesn't tear up. It stays healthier. I think it's easier for the grass to take hold. This kind of thing.
And how does it fit with our greenest club in the country and all that?
It probably helps because your pitch will stay greener for longer.
But what about the plastic though? That's where I was going with it.
I don't know. Well, I think this has got something like a 15-year life cycle on it, maybe a 5-year. I can't remember. I read it and I went, I need to remember that. And then
I can't remember.
I had a
5 in it anyway.
Aye, so 5 or 15-year lifespan. I don't know, but I suppose if it's encouraging healthy grass, that's got to be a good thing. It's just helping it along.
Aye,
kind of little,
just playing devil's advocate.
What other benefits it's got? But 60-40 thing came from Ben Kensel again. He'd said it in the article in the Scotsman, and he said it was something like 60-40. So although we're quoting it, it's something like
it could be 62-38 or 58-42 or something.
Aye, so if you're a hybrid pitch layer, get in touch. You can put us right with.
Come on, now we've got some spaces.
Come on, the pre-season. It'll be like watching paint dry. Listening to paint dry. Don't know.
That's like watching a grass pitch get laid, like that video. Like,
I quite like things like see, like the sort of the time lapse, because it was like they were like shaving the top surface off, like peeling a tatty. That was how it looked. Because kind of just drive down and then like where the fuck's the grass all gone? Just gone from green to brown. Painted it as they've gone.
Didn't it sand?
Aye. Some undertakings. I think they've improved the drainage and everything as well. It's quite a significant job. And then they put one up at the training centre as well, I think.
I've seen that happening over. There's 3 pitches been getting done up there. It's been getting done for a wee while longer. They started that a month or so ago.
Aye. And paid for by the Gordons as well, I believe. So it's not necessarily going to be something that's coming at the budget or impacting on what we've got to spend on transfers. So again, that's probably quite a good thing for us. Henry, new pitch. I always like when you go into the new season and everybody goes at the pitch looks good, eh? Everybody says
it's a nice sunny day.
Aye, nice sunny day. Go, fucking pitch is looking good. So it'd be nice to be able to say that on a fucking wet December night, and you can go in and go,
it just looks good.
Aye. Wonder if you'll still get the bare bits around the goals.
The sides in it. And they're doing the touchlines is normally another one you see.
Where the linesman's been running. Anyway, right, the other thing that we were going to be talking about today was some stats. We're not normally known for our stats, Colin, are we? No. But it's pre-season and there's fuck all else to talk about. And actually,
we're going to do book reviews next week, aren't we? I already started on that today.
Book reviews and meal reviews. But I actually found these ones really interesting. So last week, if you look at the Twitter accounts at Irvine Analysis, they had tagged us in a tweet that done sort of breaking down Hibs season, looking player by player, and some interesting stuff. And we're going to talk about that in a bit more depth on Extra Time. So if you're a subscriber and you want to hear us kind of discuss it, then that'll be in your podcast player on Wednesday. If you're not a subscriber and you want to hear it, just go to our Twitter profile and click on the link and you can sign up from £2. You can get the Hibs stuff for £2, or if you want to get short bangers as well, that's £3 each month. So less than a pint a beer, I think, these days.
You have a bit of half a pint?
Half a pint. I have bought one, but not for a long time.
Did you just be in a hurry or something?
I maybe had the car, came back when it was all right to
have a half.
To do that, you could have a half and all the rest of it.
I've got having a zero now, eh?
Aye. I had a...
That's Sam McGill zero yesterday. It was nice. One of the nicer ones, actually.
I was on the Heineken's last night. That's what they had in that Jack O'Brien's. And we were kind of weighing up whether to take the car or go for a couple of pints. And I thought, well, a couple of pints is not really... It's not enough to kind of make you feel that you've had a drink. I was like, I might as well take the car and have a couple of zeros, and you still feel like you're having a drink. But
it's a good option, eh?
Aye.
I quite like it now.
Yeah. It's funny, you would never have thought that 10 years ago. Folk would have been like fucking turning their nose up at it. And, aye. Anyway, so Extra Time, we're going to go into a bit of depth. But I thought we would pick out a couple because Hibs picked up on this thread as well. And along with Irvine Analysis, I put a wee article out on the website. So Hibs picked out 5 of them to go through, right? And we'll not go through all of them now, but they went through Josh Campbell, right? So the improvement in Josh Campbell. They talk about Joe Newell, obviously, because he was the Player of the Year and the Players' Player of the Year. The impact that missing Martin Boyle had, and then the change in style that we've seen under Lee Johnson. And again, we'll probably like the change in style we'll talk about in Extra Time, because that's your evidence, eh? Like, are things better? And you can kind of have your eye test, and then you've got what do the stats tell you to see whether it backs it up. So we'll talk a wee bit about that. But we were talking about Josh Campbell. Did you ever look at the stats, Colin? So what Hibs said, right, and I'll just quote the website from it. They said, a virtually ever-present figure this year, Josh played 2,775 minutes. These extra 938 minutes compared to last season led to him contributing 8 goals, a huge improvement on his single goal in his debut season. He contributed much more this season in a majority of the key metrics, especially in an attacking sense. So, yeah, what stood out for you when you were looking at it?
The one, I think they mentioned shots on target, didn't they? The shots on target increased, which obviously you need a shot on target to be able to score, eh? So he's scored a lot more goals, but then he has played a lot more minutes. But I think when we spoke about him last season, I was wary, like hammering him too much. But I did kind of say, I think I kind of boxed him as he's a good player in the big games because he'll do a lot of running.
Yeah.
He's closing down in that. But he doesn't really create any goals and he doesn't really save any goals, so I'm not really sure what he's for, was maybe my words. Other than I remember he put a cracking cross in for maybe Nisbet in one game. But this year he definitely appeared to be more, and folk did say, to give folk credit, he's a number 10, he was a number 10 in the youth team and all that stuff. And I was always thinking, has he? I've never fucking seen that. I've just seen him as a more athletic Jimmy Jago. You know, not that I knew who Jimmy Jago was at the time, but that would be the comparison there.
It's weird that you said that before you jumped away. Like,
I know.
It's quite
just because it's a funny name. Just because it's a funny name. It's like a name you'd make up. So It's better than John Smith or something. You know what I mean? Folk use John Smith, Joe Bloggs. Jimmy Jago's better, I think. I think that's maybe something we should start.
My cousin's called John Smith. Listens to this, or he used to listen to it. I think he still do. Hello, John, if you're listening.
There's another John Smith that listens as well. He's a Hearts fan though. That I used to work with. Because it's funny because he used to do he still does training somewhere else, and he would never use John Smith as an example person in his cases, because that's his name. So I think it's like there's everybody else uses John Smith. I'm back to he's saying that again. I always think I'm when I see it as an example. Anyway. Near shots on target. That's and I guess that's.
I think the one
simple thing to do, isn't it? But sorry, mate, it's a simple thing to do, but it makes it look at the difference it makes. We spoke about before. Just shoot, just fucking shoot.
The difference is actually having a go. The one that stood out for me was the free ball pickups. Like 63 last season, 85 this season just finished. And although you've got more minutes on the pitch, I think what you saw for Josh Campbell this season was about being more effective with the busyness. So he was busy last season, but it's like, we talk about bravery with players, right? And you have players hiding in inverted commas, and other players that look for the ball or try to make things happen. I think last season you see a busy player who's not confident and is a bit anxious about getting on the ball, making a mistake.
100%.
This season you saw a player who believes that they can do something, so that there's like a purpose or an intensity to that busyness that makes them want to get on the ball, and then when they get it, do something that's not just hand it straight off to somebody else.
That's an interesting one, actually. That's a good point, because that was a big criticism, wasn't it? He didn't want the ball, and it was like he's better off the ball. That was a lot of the we said. I said, and it was because he was. It might have been because you could sense it. I mean, you could sense it any time the ball went near him. Like your foot were groaning before he got it, and if he's feeling that, he's thinking, just get rid of it. Didn't make a mistake. Just get to the boy beside me. Sideways passes. All that. Just fucking get to Joe Newell, or just get to Doyle Hayes, because it was they three that they all got hammered, didn't they? And then this year we were called for that to be the fucking field at times. But that probably shows the difference as well, though, because and that might be down to the way the managers wanting them to play more than how Maloney or Ross wanted them to play before that, because they maybe try to do something different, or he's giving them the confidence. They will never make a mistake. I
think it's like so I think it's a key thing. You probably saw it with a few players, like the impact of the manager. So you saw the development of Yuan, for example, is somebody who got better. Joe Newell got better as the season went. Paul Hanlon got better as the season went. Like even Lewis Miller coming into the team towards the end of the season had improved. And I think for all folk who have various opinions on Lee Johnson, I think that's probably one of the things that he seems to be good at, is finding out what makes a player tick. And definitely with Josh Campbell, I think that's where you see the evidence is that the effectiveness of the work that he was doing. I don't think his work rate was ever in question, but what he does with that work definitely improved. Right. There's more on this kind of stuff coming up. We're kind of out of time for Longbangers this week. Just a short one with no football to actually talk about. So thanks for tuning in. If you want to hear more, like I said earlier, go and click on our Twitter, follow the link, and you can subscribe. You'll get extra time. We'll go into a bit more depth about the various things that Irvin Analysis called out, including, I think, an interesting conversation that we had about David Marshall, Colin, as well. This is, I'll fill you in as we talk. Right. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Thanks for listening. If there's anything you want us to talk about over the pre-season, please do get in touch on Twitter, and I dare say we'll take it up, unless it's a fucking ridiculous idea, because there's not a lot else to talk about. Anyway, right. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. They trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink water, no.